All right, here we are, a few days before the change of another new year. It's about to be 2026. And for my fellow millennials out there, that means that rolling into this new year, most of us are somewhere in our mid to upper 30s, early 40s. And I'm going to tell you that at this stage in life, rolling into a new year, it kind of hit a little different. It's like this sense of urgency mixed with a reignited ambition for things that, for whatever reason, you sat to the side along your journey up to this point in your life. It's a lot of us out there like that, myself included, where early 30s, mid to late 20s, like that phase of life, I had an ambition beyond explanation. I just wanted to go get it. Like I just woke up every day with this excitement that it's a new day to go out there and grind and make it happen. And then, just like many of us, my life hit a big ass boulder on my path towards where I was imagining that I was going. Things was going great until they weren't. And you factor in some mental health related issues, relationship issues, financial issues, identity crisis issues. You mix all that into there, and that's a recipe for arrested development. And that's exactly what happened to me. Somewhere around the age of, I would say it was around 2020 when the world shut down. And it just so happened that in 2020, how old did I turn in 2020? I was like 35 or 36. So right when I should have been at my peak professionally and just socially, the world kind of shut down. And by the way, up to that point, I was living the life that I had always dreamed of. I was self-employed. I traveled every 2 weeks for about 2 weeks at a time. I had an amazing work-life balance that allowed me to not be so drained from my day-to-day that I still had a lot of vitality for my creative ambitions. And so it was just like this perfect recipe for me being able to say, hey, I made it. Or at least I made it to where, when you're in school and they say, where do you think you're going to be in 5 years? Or tell your 5 year from now self, give your 5 year from now self some type of advice. Like, when you imagine your 5 year from now self, I actually was the embodiment of what I had imagined myself to be 5 years prior to that point. But things beyond my control, the world did what it did. And unfortunately, I didn't adapt so well to the way the world ended up becoming when everything shut down. Prior to that, I enjoyed being outside. I enjoyed being around people. I'm a people watcher. I'm like a self-proclaimed sociologist. I just love to study society and the patterns and just the way people move and groove out in the world. And I enjoyed doing the work that I had earned and doing the work that I had built myself up to being able to do. I enjoyed that lifestyle. And then when everything shut down and things seemed so uncertain, I didn't handle that with as much courage as I know I could have, based on the courage and bravery that I have within me now and that I just generally have about myself. But it was something about that time period that was just, I don't know, it shook me to the core. And I will say that during that time frame, I did crack open some very deep, creative skill sets and abilities and visions that I don't think I would have tapped into had I not been forced into just being stationary and parked in the house every day, all day. It was like the creativity renaissance happened during the time when the world was shut down. But my ambition to share that creativity and my ambition to let that creativity drive my everyday life was kind of fading out, because at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like the artistic community is split on this idea, but some people are under the belief that we just create art, like creatives just create their art just because they need to create, and they're just fine with nobody ever seeing it or a million people seeing it. Then there's the other side of the Venn diagram, where there's creators who create things because they like to create, but there's also that entertainer part of them that wants people to see their creativity. They want to build some type of community. They want to build some type of synergy around what they create. And so during the time the world was shut down, like I'm more on the side of the Venn diagram of the latter description. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of creative things that I've done that I do just for the sake of creating. But then again, there's also a lot of creative things that I do because I genuinely have a desire and interest to share those things with the world and to receive energy back from the audience that consumes my creativity. It's like all my years as a DJ, and every DJ knows this, that the energy that you get back from the crowd, it's like this symbiotic relationship. It's a yin and a yang. It's like, yeah, as a DJ, you have to give the crowd a certain energy, but then there's also this balance of the crowd has to give you, as the DJ, this certain kind of energy in order for you to have just like that unforgettable set. And so I'm one of those artists who I thrive off of the energy that is built, or the energy that others generate from consuming my artistic creations. And so when it seemed like, or when we didn't know how the world was gonna move on, I kind of was along the pessimistic side and was kind of thinking like, maybe it's gonna be like this forever, so what's the point? And so being calibrated like that, naturally my ambition just started to fade out, fizzle out. Fortunately, recently, I'd say in the last 6 months, so we're fast forwarding now to 2025. I know there's a lot more to fill in the gaps between 2020 and 2025, but I'll save that for, there's plenty of other opportunities to talk about that, but I'm just giving you the condensed version of why I'm talking about what I'm talking about right now. But in the last 6 months or so, my creative renaissance has resurfaced, and I've just had this just innate, deep desire to create and to share my creativity with the world again. And the bonus is, unlike during the time when the world was shut down, this time I actually have the ambition too. Don't get me wrong, I still suffer from imposter syndrome a little bit. There are still times where I have self-doubt that kind of prevents me from just going all in. But I also know that this is the moment. Like, it's do or die now. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Which ties me back into how I opened this up, speaking to my other fellow millennials who might be late bloomers, or you might be on a hiatus from success that you were experiencing prior to some type of obstacle or barrier that got in your way. This is our time now to really make the decision and pivot and go for it, because honestly, we really ain't got nothing to lose. The world is pretty messed up right now. I mean, if you are fortunate to have some type of like stable income or career, or, you know, you're doing good for yourself, you are amongst the blessed. And if you also happen to still have those creative ambitions, right now is the time. If you've ever felt like it was too late, I want to encourage you to remind yourself that it really ain't too late. For most of the creative, like, we got so much access to technology now. You could get a cheap microphone like this. You could get a decent camera. And we have the access of the internet to spread our art to the world. So it's really not too late. Now is the time, especially if you are authentic. Because also, if you think about how AI is showing up in the world right now, there's a lot of people that's craving authentic creativity. And if you are a millennial, I'm assuming that you haven't fully given in yet to just relying on AI to create your art. I will hope not. Because if you're not, and you still believe in your original creativity, now is the time where people want to consume that. Now is the time for you to really have that honest conversation with yourself and say, you know what? If I put this off for too many more years, there's going to be a year when I'm going to realize I don't have too many more years left to even be considering putting it off for another year. So it's now. So whatever that is that you want to do, that you're creative or that you are passionately creative about or creatively passionate about. I don't know. Do those make sense? Whatever. Now's the time. Pick up the microphone. Pick up the camera. Pick up the pen. Pick up the paper. Pick up the paintbrush. Pick up the Google Doc. Whatever it is. But let's make it happen. And I really hope that this ain't the last time that we speak. So I will see y'all next time.